So we classified connective tissue into three: binding connective tissue, supporting connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue. And this binding connective tissue again classified into three. I will write later. Before that, we can discuss about the binding connective tissue. What is binding connective tissue? Binding connective tissue. It is also known as connective tissue proper. It is also known as connective tissue proper. I have written connective tissue into short form, connective tissue proper. So, and it binds other tissues and organs together. It binds other tissues and organs together. So this is the function of binding connective tissue. It binds the other tissue and organs together. And it has soft matrix. It has soft matrix transversed by fibers either singly or in bundle. It has soft matrix. What type of soft matrix? Soft matrix transversed by, you know, cross section, transverse section, you know that. And soft matrix is transversed by fibers or composed by fibers either singly or in bundle. Composed by fibers. Fibers in singly manner or in bundle. And there are three kinds of fibers, namely three kinds of fibers. Three kinds of fibers. Which of them? Which are they? Collagen fiber, elastic fiber, and reticular fibers. These are three kinds of fibers in binding connective tissue. Three kinds of fibers in soft matrix of binding connective tissue. Okay. And the collagen or white fibers are tough. What? This collagen or white fibers, or otherwise we call it as white fibers. White fibers are tough, unbranched. What is the peculiarity of this collagen? Tough, unbranched. Okay. And occurring bundles. Can be seen in bundles, these collagen fibers. White fibers, tough and unbranched, and bundles. So these collagen fibers can be seen in soft matrix of binding connective tissue. And now let's discuss about. And this collagen is formed of protein. Formed of a protein called collagen. So the elastic or yellow fibers are flexible. The elastic fibers, or otherwise we call it as yellow fibers. While the collagen is white fibers, elastic fibers are yellow fibers. So these yellow fibers or elastic fibers are flexible. Flexible like elastic. Elastic means flexible. So elastic and branched. Also flexible, elastic and branched. So now let's move to reticular fibers. The reticular fibers are the form of network. This elastic fiber, they form a networking matrix in the matrix. Okay. In the soft matrix, they form elastic fibers in the soft matrix. They form a network. Okay. And they formed of albinoid protein called elastin. They formed of albuminoid. Sorry, not albinoid, albuminoid. Albuminoid, I will write. These reticular fibers are formed of albuminoid. Sorry, not reticular fibers. Elastic fibers are formed of albuminoid protein. And this albuminoid protein called elastin. And next we can move to reticular fibers. And these reticular fibers peculiarities are they are thin. They are thin. Then they are short. And they are thread-like non-elastic fibers. They are thread-like. Okay, they are thread-like non-elastic fibers, and they are formed of a protein called reticulin. And these reticular fibers are formed of a protein formed which substance? Reticular fibers are formed by a protein called reticulin. Reticulin protein. So the binding connective tissue. Now we are discussing about binding connective tissue. This binding connective tissue contains two types of cells, such as fixed cells and wandering cells. So this binding connective tissue classified into fixed cells and wandering cells. So this binding connective tissue contains two types of cells. This binding connective tissue contains two types of cells. Which are they? Fixed cells and wandering cells. So I said about cells of binding connective tissue. There are two types of cells in binding connective tissue: fixed cells and wandering cells. So these fixed cells again classified into 4 and wandering cells into 2. So I will write cells of binding connective tissue. Mainly two types: fixed cells and wandering cells. So these fixed cells again classified into plasma cells. These fixed cells contains plasma cells, mast cells, and adipose cells, and one more, fibroblast. So these are the composition of fixed cells: plasma cells, mast cells, adipose cells, and fibroblast. And wandering cells consist of two types: macrophages and lymphocytes. So macrophages and lymphocytes macrophages and lymphocytes are wandering cells. And now we can discuss about fixed cells. What is fixed cells? Fixed cells, the cells involved in the synthesis and storage, are known as fixed cells. I will write fixed cells fixed cells. The cells. The function of these cells are synthesis and storage. Synthesis and storage. The cells involved in synthesis and storage are known as fixed cells. So they include plasma cells. So first, plasma cells. Plasma cells are small, round, irregular, fixed cells. So plasma cells are small, round, irregular, fixed cells. Okay. And where we can see these plasma cells? Plasma cells are fixed cells, and these plasma cells can be found in the matrix of binding connective tissue. Can be found in matrix of binding connective tissue. Okay, and they are involved in the production. Their function is they are involved in the production and transportation of antibodies. And the function is production and transportation of antibodies. So we can understand what is the function of plasma cells. Plasma cells is a fixed cell, and the function is production and transportation of antibodies. Now we can discuss about mast cells. Mast cells. Mast cells are fixed cells. Fixed cells means the cells of binding connective tissue. Fixed cells and marine cells. In fixed cells there is mast cells, and mast cells is a large irregularly ovoid cells. Large irregularly ovoid cells. Mast cells are large irregularly ovoid cells. Okay, the shape is ovoid. And where can be seen these mast cells? These mast cells are found in the binding connective tissue. And they are usually located near the blood vessels. So these mast cells can be located near blood cells. Located near blood vessels. So this mast cells location is near blood vessels, and they store inflammation producing substances. What is the function of mast cells? They store inflammation producing substances. And what are the inflammation producing substances? Such as histamine, indense granules. Histamines are inflammation producing substance, such as histamine. Okay. Histamine in dense granules. So the storage of histamine in mast cells. And histamine helps in the body defense by attracting phagocytes to injured tissue. And what is the function of this histamine, this inflammatory product, inflammation producing substance? The function of histamine is, histamine helps in body defense by attracting phagocytes to the injured tissue. Attracting phagocytes to injured tissue. So this is the function of histamine. Attraction of phagocytes to the injured tissue. So this histamine helps in body defense. I hope you can see in the board completely. Here I write cells of binding connective tissue, and there are two types of cells, fixed cells and wandering cells, and we can classify the fixed cells in plasma cells, mast cells, adipose cells and fibroblasts. And we explained about plasma cells. Plasma cells are small, round, irregular and found in matrix of binding connective tissue, and function is production and transportation of the antibodies. And mast cells. Mast cells is also a fixed cells, and it is large irregularly ovoid cells and located in near blood vessels, and function is storage of inflammation producing substances like histamine, and histamine's function is attracting phagocytes to injured tissue. Thus histamine helps in defense mechanism, okay.